The best way to learn is through the help of others, listening to what they have to say and deciding what to agree on and what to disagree on. Getting a different perspective on ideas is what makes life interesting. For that reason, I'm going out and seeking open-minded individuals and getting their perspective. And I am sharing this with you guys. Yo, what's up, you guys? This is your boy Tinted, and I'm very excited for this video because it's actually the first time I sit down with a successful entrepreneur right here from Hollister, California. So let me give you a brief overview of what went down. I sat down with Omar Diaz, famously known as OD, the barber who brought disruption to Hollister, California. Okay, so you guys are gonna listen to someone who's been through it, overcame the obstacle, and has the empirical knowledge because he himself has gone through the process. Now, I'm very excited. This is the first video, like I said, with the actual successful entrepreneur, so listen closely. I'm telling you guys, this is a really great interview. See you there. Alright guys, I'm really excited to make this video. To my left, we have an actual successful entrepreneur from Hollister, California. This is like my first time doing an interview with someone that has actually gone through the entrepreneur journey, has had the struggles, overcame the obstacles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really eager to pick your brain, and thank you for taking the time to meet up. Let's do this. And just to get the people that, because I know you're well known in this town, but for those people that don't know you, can you just introduce yourself, like what you do, your entrepreneur journey, and that's that overview.
All right. Well, my name is Omar Diaz. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Hollister, California, born and raised. I'm married. I have a little girl. She's about to be 6 months.
Already?
Already.
Yeah, time flies. Exactly.
I
And then your profession is barber. You're a barber, but the way you talk to me in that manner is like you see it more than just that. It's not just the haircut. Like you see it in a completely different manner. And the first question I want to open up with is like, what got you to be a barber? What did you see? Was it for money? Your passion, or what was it?
Well, me, the way I started cutting hair was, I still remember it was in the summer of 7th grade. I was about to be an 8th grader. I had a neighbor that had just moved from Los Angeles. He was like a tagger / gangster. And I remember he would go bald. He'd cut his hair bald. My dad would cut my hair at the time. One time his clippers just broke and he told me, "Hey man, can I borrow your clippers? Just so I could take my hair down." And I told him, yeah, I could let you borrow him. Let him borrow him, cut his hair. Next week, same thing. And then I told him, hey, well, let me just give you a fade. If I mess up, I mean, you're just gonna go bald, right? So that's how it all started. After that, I just kept on cutting his hair every week for that whole summer. After that happened, I started getting a little bit more practice. He started noticing that I was getting good. I started noticing that I was getting good, and next thing you know, his brother started getting a haircut by me, and I started giving him fades. So
that's crazy. That's like your little guinea pig, but like it actually benefited both of you. And then, how was the actual process of being a barber? Like going through the barber school, the struggles of like getting licensed and all that kind of stuff.
The process of becoming a barber was. It was hard. It was hard because at the time when I decided to go to barber school, I was 23 years old. I was engaged already with my now wife. I was just working at this company, making maybe $10 an hour. I thought about what I was gonna do, what I got myself into. I'm engaged to my now wife, but I'm not making ends meet. So what am I gonna do now? So it was a little bit hard, but I decided to go to barber school. It worked out for the best.
Do you think anyone could be a barber, or do you think you need a steady hand for like the fades, lineups, and that kind of stuff?
I think for barbering, you just have to be artistic, because in the fade or any type of haircut, it's all symmetric. It's all the way it blends out. So like airbrushing, I guess you can say. You just have to be artistic. and like what you do, you know, I guess.
The study. Like, not anyone can be a tattoo artist. Some people. Same for our barbers. Like I said, it's creativity in the arty world. And then third question is the biggest obstacles you had to overcome for your journey to get here. Now, you said you were married already, making $10 an hour. How was it like having a job and then going to barber school? Or how did you do that?
It was hard because I was already used to being independent. I started working since I was like 14. Every summer I had a summer job of working in the apricots, cutting, you know, apricots, making money for the summer to get back to school and making money. So I was very independent, so it was hard. And it was hard because I had to go to San Jose for barber school with no money, not working anymore, engaged. I was used to being independent, paying my own bills, but I had to have a sit down with my parents and tell them, hey, you know what, cut down my rent, because I was paying rent at the time already. So I told my dad, hey, Dad, help me out with the rent. I'll give you half of what I was giving you, which it was $500. So I was gonna give him half.
Right.
And I still had to go to school. I had to get a part-time job in the afternoon at a Taco Bell. And I had to be cutting hair on Saturdays from 9 in the morning until the sun came down, just to make money for my rent, for my gas, and take my wife out on the weekends. So it was hard, you know. There was times where I would go to barber school, which was from here to San Jose, 45-minute drive, and I only had $8 in my wallet. You know, I had to pump $5 of gas, and I had $3 for maybe 2 McChickens and some water, you know. And you know, a lot of people don't know that, but I had to go through it because, you know, I knew I had to get in and out, in and out. The more I lagged on it, the longer I was gonna be there. So I wasn't gonna have no money, and I needed to get married too. So that was one of the reasons why I pushed it, and I was going full time, 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, to San Jose.
Dang, that's crazy, the low income situation. And then that actually, a follow-up question is, how was your environment, like your family? Did they support you with like, you should do something else? Were they like did they completely have your back to say?
My family, I felt like, because pretty much growing up, I felt like I was a black sheep from my family, just because I knew it was my fault, because I used to get in trouble a lot. So I felt like they didn't give me a lot of the stuff that my brothers would get, because it was my fault, you know. I wasn't doing good. So since I wasn't doing good, you can't reward somebody that's not doing good. But when I finally told them that I was gonna go to barber school, I kind of felt like my mom didn't believe me in a way, because I was so used to procrastinating everything and leaving everything to the last minute and saying I'm gonna do something but wouldn't take action. So I felt like she didn't believe me, but my dad did, because he was the one who would always tell me to go to barber school, because that was something that he'd see I was very good at and I was making money. So he told me, once you get your barber license, I mean, you can even open up your own shop. And that kind of stuck to me, like, you know, I can open up my own barbershop. And he told me, if you don't want to work at a company where they're always telling you what to do, you know, go to school, be your own boss, make your own schedule, and as much as hard work you put into it, that's how much you're gonna get out of it. So, yeah, I mean, my family supported me, but I kind of had like my ifs about my mom, because I kind of saw her face expression when I told her I was gonna go to school. I felt like she kind of didn't believe me. But for the most part, after I started going to barber school, they started noticing that I was putting in the hours, I was putting in the time, I was dedicated, and then that's when I kind of started feeling like, you know, a little bit more support. And well, from my friends, it was all the opposite, because, you know, I was cutting everybody up. So everybody wanted me to go to school so I can open up my own spot and have more days to cut than just one Saturday out of the week, you know.
Damn, that's an interesting story. And then I remember when you, I like what your dad said, like one day you will open your own shop, because sometimes someone, like they have more awareness or whatever, they see stuff that you can't see yet. So your dad's little words, they stuck with you. And then not the question that I'm asking follow up is, like, as you got traction, like you said, your friends like, oh, like, start cutting my hair, and you started seeing your competence, your skill get better and better. When you got your license and you opened up in that little shop, the first place you had, how did you feel that you're like, oh, like, okay, now it's like getting serious, I'm entering the barber world? Like, I'm on my own basically. Like this is my job now.
When I first started at the other spot, at the time there was no barbershops here in town, so I had to start off in a salon. I told my mom, hey mom, I want to open up my own barbershop right away as soon as I get out of school. But she told me, no, you got to know the ins and outs of the trade, you know? She's all like, I know you have a lot of clients and I know you're very good at what you do, but you still have to get that other aspect of the business, you know? So she told me start off at a small place, and I did. I started off, supposedly the contract with the lady was only for a year. I ended up staying there 2 years because one, I got the first year, all my earnings were for the wedding, and then the second year, everything was to execute, you know, to open up my own spot. And there was no places that were leasing until I found this one. The whole time that I was there, it was a little scary because when you first open up, there's always the what if, you know, always. I think that happens to everybody, and I think that's the scariest thing that anybody faces when they're trying to do something. What if? What if I don't succeed? What if I don't make money? What if this isn't the right thing to do? What if this was,
what if,
you know,
right?
I just went by emotion, and you know, and I didn't plan everything out. But you know, my ultimate goal was to open up my own shop. I knew how to put in the work. I'm self-employed, so as you're self-employed, you have to put in the work, you know, you have to, because nobody else is gonna do it for you. You gotta do it yourself. So I worked hard, put in long hours. You know, I got a little isolated from my friends. I was just working. And there was a point where I thought like, man, like a year, 2 years went by, and you know, I missed out on a lot, you know, that I was used to, you know, going out with my friends, going to car meets, whatever it is, you know, hanging out, my wife too. But at the end, you see, it all worked out. It paid off, you know.
You gotta make the sacrifices, you know? And that's what a lot of people like. They can't simulate that far ahead. Like they want the instant gratification. They're not willing to really put like the sacrifices, missing out on a lot of events and that kind of stuff. But it'll pay off. You just, like, a favorite quote of mine is, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. And obviously, like you said, you put in your hours, made a lot of sacrifices because you were putting in the work to deserve what you wanted. And then now let's fast forward where you actually opened up your own place. Like this is your shop. You're the CEO. You're the executive in this area. And as you grew, you knew that you had to build a team because you know, you got more space. You can bring in more barbers. And then the question I want to ask you is, as you got traction, when did you realize it was time to build an actual team?
I actually kind of knew that when I was about to finish barber school. The reason why was because usually when you open up a barbershop, you don't want to just be a one-man barbershop. It's cool, you know, small town, one barber, would have been nice, but you gotta get, like I'm pretty sure you know this already, you gotta get multiple sources of income. And well, if I can get other barbers to be working at the barbershop that I'm, you know, owning, it'd be nice, you know. You get a little bit more income coming in, and you can do more haircuts, you know. It is a little bit hard to get a team because you gotta know the right barbers. They gotta be talented. They gotta be dedicated. They gotta have that vision that maybe not the same as yours, but the ultimate goal is to do a good haircut. You know, put in hard work, execute the haircuts, you know, customer service, hygiene, everything. And it's hard, but I knew one of the barbers that was gonna start off with me right away, 2 weeks after I opened up this barbershop, which is my wife's cousin. His name's Angel Munguia, also known as El Catrin, the barber.
I'm sitting on his chair.
He's sitting on the chair, yeah. And the second guy was Uziel Arredondo. Uzi the barber. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a while now. And when I opened up the shop, 2 weeks later, Catherine started working. And 3 months after, Uzi started working here after he graduated barber school. I didn't want to get no unlicensed barbers because, you know, I know that people are always looking. And I know that people always see everything that's going on. And I don't want to give that image of myself as, you know, maybe a ghetto barber or a barber that, you know, doesn't take his job serious. So building a team is good because it helps you It helps you in the way that if I'm slacking and I see them doing good, I'm gonna, get back on track and try to do the next haircut even better than the other one. And we all push each other. We all try to go to barber competitions. We all try to go to seminars. We're always gonna be a student of the game. As barbers, you're always learning. You can't stop learning. Once you stop learning, that's it. You're a closed mind. You're not gonna get no more knowledge. You're not gonna get no more information, so you're not gonna improve in what you do, and you're just gonna be another barber, And that's what we don't want, We want to be. I don't want to say I'm the best barber. I don't want to say my shop's the best barber shop in town, but I know that we do put in hard work, and we do put hard work into our craft, which is investing in ourselves. And I know people are gonna notice that. I know people are gonna see, because they're always looking. People are always looking, and people are always talking. Either you do something good or you do something bad, people are always gonna talk about you. But at the end of the day, I want people to know that we take our job serious.
I see it.
This is what we do.
Because as a guy, when I was growing up, I would try different barbers, and then when I heard about you guys, because when I went for you first, you had a higher price than all the other barbers. And I said, you literally brought a lot of disruption in the barber industry and your niche to Hollister, because every barber was like the same price, etc. But then you came and then you changed the price. And a lot of people were like, well, that's a lot of money for a haircut. Even I was like that, but then I was like, my friend, he convinced me. He's like, look, try them on. Like, once you go in, you'll never want to go back to another barber. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then I remember the first time I got a haircut with you, I didn't even personally know you, but we've got that personal connection right away. And you told me being a barber is almost like a psychologist in a manner. Like, you gotta know your client, engage with them in a personal manner. And I like how we clicked right away. And when it came to pay you, I didn't even realize that I paid $25. That was like a lot more than what I was used to paying. Like, it just you get what you pay for, you say. And it's like you said, your vision with this team, your barbershop, is to be higher, go higher and higher and higher. And I see that with you guys. Everyone here, has a higher level of competence, and that's why you guys are at the caliber that you guys are. So I respect that a lot. And then personally for you, I got 3 more questions, and this one kind of cool. You went into it, but you personally being a leader, how can you say that managing a team is a lot different than like when someone else is managing you? Like you're the executive, and like that responsibility that brings to you. Like you said, when you see your team, they're sharp and you're slacking, but you being the leader, how do you see everything differently?
It's a little bit more time. Consuming, because sometimes I wish I could just get home and relax and not invest in myself. But I've heard a lot of motivational speeches. I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs, the ins and outs, and I got something that says you can't just go to work 8 hours, work for somebody else, which is not my case because I work for myself. But I can't just come to work 8 hours, and then go home and rest. I feel like me as a leader, as the shop owner, I have to invest when I get home. So it takes up a little bit of my family time by me hanging out with them, being with my wife, being with my little one. But that's something I have to do because somebody's got to do it, and that responsibility lies on me. And I'm okay with it. My wife's okay with it. It's just communication, man. I mean, me and my wife, we talk a lot. I tell her my vision. She supports me. So as me being like the shop owner, I have to invest a little bit more time. I have to be the image. I have to portray a certain way of the way I carry myself. I can't just be, just a guy. I have to be a barber. I have to be a shop owner, and I have to be a leader, like you said. And it's a little hard sometimes because you can't always be strict. No, you have to be a leader, and it's hard, but I know the barbers that I work with, they understand what I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure that they know and they can see what I do. I don't just do it for myself because, like I said, if I'm winning, I want my whole team winning. And if I'm growing, I want them to grow, and there's no hate. Like my dad would say, the sun shines for everybody. You know, if it shines for me, it shines for them. So yeah, it's a little hard, you know, being a shop owner. I thought it was gonna be easy. Okay, you're just a barber. They just rent their booths. They pay me at the end of the month, and everybody's good. But no, sometimes, you know, if they're slacking, I have to tell them, hey man, you know what, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
Hey man, you know what, you need to clean your station. Hey man, you know, you need to come dressed a little bit better. Because even though it's a job, you know, you're
Portraying.
portraying.
It's a brand. This is like your brand, and someone that is part of your team is part of your brand.
Yeah.
And if a person is portraying himself in a manner that doesn't correlate, that's where you gotta come in as the leader, like you said. Very nice put. So, I got 2 more questions, and then the last 2, they're gonna be a little bit more personal. There's like no right or wrong. There's just based off your exposure, your experience. But what would you say would be the key actions that led you to get the results, for you to be here today?
The key.
Was it taking action? Was it taking the risk? Was it just listening to your intuition, listening to yourself? What would you say it would be?
I would say in the trade that I do, which is barbering, I say consistency. Consistency, why? Because, you know, we might have a nice shop, we might have good customer service, we might have a nice clean shop, but if we're not executing the haircut the proper way, the way that it should be done, you know, everything that's around it is useless.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing a good haircut, then, you know, what guarantees you that that client's gonna come back? He's probably not. And just like they need us, we need them, because they're the ones that putting money into our pockets. But if we give a good haircut, then it's more likely that they're gonna come back.
That's what.
So
they came for.
that's
Yeah.
consistency, I would say, because you gotta be consistent on the haircuts. You know, they always ask me, what's your best haircut? They always say that, like, what's your best haircut? And I'm gonna say what some old gentleman, Vietnamese guy, told me when I was going to barber school. He said, my last haircut. And I told him, why? And he's like, I didn't get it. You know, at the moment he just said, my last haircut. I didn't get it. But he said, because I try to improve each haircut, you know. My last haircut was the best one. Because why? Because when I do this one's going to be my best one. And, you know, you get the point. So consistency on the haircuts, consistency on how you come to work on time, the way you dress, the way you portray.
That's why when I heard that from you, that philosophy on cutting hair, I was like, oh, it's like, I never thought of it like that either. But once I saw the behind the scenes of literally how a barber perceives things, and you're a unique barber because not all barbers, you can say, are the same. So I respect that a lot, that you're always uncomfortable and you always want to progress. You know, like you said, you will always be a student of the game. All right, and then the last question to finish this up is, what are some words that you can tell to someone who is listening right now or watching right now and wants to start off on their own venture, their own journey? What would you tell them? Like maybe they're hesitating, maybe they're scared, there's a risk. But remember, this is no right or wrong.
Yeah. This is what I think.
Yeah.
Me personally, first of all, you have to have a plan. You have to know what you want to do. You have to have an ultimate vision of the plan you want to do. That's number one. Number two would be vision yourself doing it. Imagine you're already there. Imagine you're already doing it. Imagine you're already a shop owner, or you own a business, or whatever it is that you want to do. Imagine yourself doing it. Vision yourself. Oh, okay, I'm dressed a certain way. I'm acting a certain way. I drive a certain car. You know, just vision yourself doing everything. You know, that would be number two. And then number three is execute. You know, have the means to do it. Money is a big thing, because you know, you might have $1 million ideas, but if you don't have somewhat money saved up to execute your plan, your vision, how are you gonna do it? You know, you're not gonna do it. It's sad to say it, but I mean, at the end of the day, why do we all work? You know, because we want to make money. You know, I mean, you don't have to do it for the money. That's not the point. But money does play a big part in what you do.
Exactly. It's like little units that you use for this, or you can use for that. And if you use your money wisely, you will open up a way of life that you wouldn't have done if you used the money in a different manner. Like that's why I kind of see life as a game, and there's like a lot of areas of life, right? There's like the health, our personal pillar of health. There's the social with our family and friends. How good are you at communicating? There's finance, like money. How good are you with money? Do you understand money and that kind of stuff? Do you respect it? But when you said that those three key things, what was it? Plan, vision, execution. They clearly reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said almost the exact same thing. Like when he would go to his competitions, he would first, before he even started working out, he was like, okay, I want to weigh 100 or no, like 200 something pounds, right? Look like this. He would imagine in his head before he started working out. And that's the same thing he gives to people that are going to start. It's like, imagine yourself how you want to look, and then when you're working out, you're putting in your reps. You're like, oh, I'm getting one step closer towards that body, towards that goal. And then the vision is like, when he was in the competition competing, he would already walk around like if he won, because he had a vision that he already won inside his head. And then that's kind of the law of attraction. Is like you by you believing it, you manifest it. But just by you believing it doesn't mean what happened is you gotta put part 3, execution, put in the work, and it just adds up. And it's interesting stuff. But this was really great. It's 25 minutes, but for me it felt like 5 minutes. I learned a lot, got good philosophy. I'm glad you took the time to spread your message, spread your story. And I hope someone watching right now, gets a little bit of value, takes a little risk, or does their own thing.
Alright guys, there you guys had it. You guys heard it from someone who's had to overcome the obstacles. The empirical knowledge has gone through himself. And my favorite thing personally was talking about environment, and you see how literally from building a team, you pick yourself up. Now I don't know why there's this mentality of the lone wolf. I don't know why people swear that they're gonna make it on their own, but you guys heard it from himself. You have to create an iron sharpens iron environment. You always have to prosper. You gotta create an environment where literally if you slack, someone is gonna pick you up. And once you gain this awareness, this is going to change the whole game, man. You might be the leader of your crew, you might be the leader of your own team, but this is what it comes down to. If you want it, you got to go get it. You got to deserve what you want. Remember that. So with that being said, we'll call this to an end, but stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be we're going to be hunting out for other successful entrepreneurs right here in Hollister, and I'm excited for this series, and I'll see you guys soon.